So that's what is
Okay.
in their application.
Does it talk about like the relief sought though? That, I guess that was where my question was.
In there, it says,
The required zoning is 3 to 25 feet.
yeah, the relief, it didn't, it said in the, sorry, but it's just that.
I'm sorry.
We have TV funny.
Yes.
So there's, the parcel, the first parcel, 187.116.1 is, minimum site setback at, 287, and the rear setback is 0. For the minimum setback, actually, the 287 sounds like it's not exactly that it's a setback that's within the regulation, so I'm not quite sure. They reference the yard regulations for the R ag district. So I printed out the solar portion of the zoning law. And it mentions R, but it doesn't say R ag, and I looked elsewhere for that supplementary information and didn't find it. So I'm not quite sure why it's side for that first one, and I think the same, that there's another one that's like it. It is, I think it's number 1, 2, 3, the fourth one down, which is 87.1 I can't read that 10. Anyway, the other setbacks, the rear, there's 0, 0. There's one that's under 1. There's a couple that are under 1.
Okay, so they're asking essentially for big relief, yeah. So,
Emma, am I correct in that this map kind of shows what it will look like with the setbacks, proposed setbacks?
I'm afraid of looking at this. What is the number of the map? It's on the corner lower right. Left, right.
No, oh, C-101?
Okay, C1. C-001.
yeah, that's,
Oh, no, not that.
101.
101, got it. Okay, so this one is, where this is the site, site material and layout plan. And so it should be including what the setbacks would look like, because it's supposed to be planned. As is the first page.
So this should show you how close these panels are gonna get.
Yeah.
To the parcel boundaries.
It's not, well, I guess they have a scale on here. You would be able to see it better. I put it down at 11 by 17.
I mean, I think it's. I would say it's a matter of local concern. They've gone. This project has been in front of their board numerous times, so.
So at this point, they're just asking for variance.
So the variance number 3, is the practical difficulty, and would be caused by strict application of zoning law to this property. Solar is an allowed use in this district, that is correct. Design of project is intended to minimize impacts. So this is namely the reason, is to minimize the impacts of the solar project. It also, that also would mean that, minimizing, depending on what the goal is, like if it were for agrivoltaics, which is,
Okay.
but, distance. does matter and whether that's possible. So, but we're not looking at it like that. It's intermunicipal impact, are we seeing glare? Is there a traffic issue or et cetera?
And those all, as if I recall, were addressed in the original.
And the site
Yeah,
plan review.
yeah.
Is there any other discussion? Excuse me. It's under, so,
I would make the motion as a matter of local concern.
and so, do we have a second?
Sure.
Welcome aboard.
I'm just trying to drink from the fire hose.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thorough is for a project under the town of White Creek Planning Board, consideration for approval of site plan. This is a self-help partnership, or also known as DBA Verizon Wireless on 1133 New York State Route 22. It's for a cell tower, the installation of a cell tower. Purpose of GML review, 500 feet of New York State Route 22 and County Route 71. And it's also within 500 feet of the municipal boundary of the village, but it's outside of the village. So that's why the town is submitting it. The project is to install a 155-foot monopole with a lightning rod, which makes it 150 long. Cell tower and a 50 by 50 fenced unmanned public utility behind the Dollar General location in White Creek on Route 22. Installation includes 9 antennas, cellular equipment at grade, cabling, utilities, and they're also providing a 12-foot wide access driveway added to the existing parking lot. Utilities will be installed underground. And there are several details in the statement of intent part 3. There are just a couple of notes from the EAF that the project will be located within 1,500 feet of the Cambridge Public School and it is in a logical. That's just the EAF. And I've also printed out the 11 by 17. And I'll take that one.
So it's on that same parcel as the Dollar General or the one?
Yeah,
behind it?
yeah,
Okay.
part of that tax map. The statement of intent has the details, the rationale for the tower and visual safety impacts. And you can read the notes that I added.
Do you know in any of this documentation that says that they will have 9 antennas on it? Are any of those intended to allow for co-locating from other providers, or is that just Verizon? You know that?
I think there's provision for co-locating, but you'd have to review the full applications and the description, because I don't remember where it is in the packet.
On page 8, does the statement of intent does talk about co-location capacity and structural design.
There you go, too.
I got one, I know something about it.
Is this near the Cambridge Forest walkway?
it is, that is mentioned in the visual impact statement. Yeah, it says Durham Park, Cambridge Community Forest.
So as a, would that affect that?
It just says in visual impact, it says it's between 1/2 and 3 miles. Anything else we should take into consideration?
I don't know, maybe Tim.
Not off the top of my head.
It appears as if they've done good diligence
Mhm.
and provide some information to fully understand the project.
Mhm.
And to be able to identify it, the impacts. And if you saw, there's also a map that shows where the signals are on the other, on the other tower visualization.
Oh, okay.
And then also visualization of how this will fill together.
Certainly, we know there's a need. And I'm sorry, this is the first time I'm looking at this stuff, so do we have any communication from the village or the school with any concerns?
I haven't received any.
It would seem like we'd only benefit that area and can't imagine a second to increase coverage. But looking at the height of the tower, is that gonna be compatible with what the needs are?
I mean, the majority of these are designed to cover a relatively small area where they have needs and concerns, so 105. Is good for a cell tower, and for us, it needs to be a lot higher because we're covering a lot more. One tower than they cover with a bunch of towers. Signals different.
Thank you. Any other questions or thoughts?
Make a motion, and this is a matter of concern.
Okay, we have a second?
You look at me.
We go with 3 of us.
Only 3 of you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who made who made the second?
Allison.
Really, she'll ask, she'll move in a second. Unless Tim's feeling frisky to do one out of another.
Yeah, maybe by the second meeting.
So the third referral is a project under the Town of Granville Planning Board consideration for approval of a site plan. Applicant Michael Siliski, 13 DeKalb Road, and the project is an auto repair shop. It's on his property. They do not have zoning. And it's only come to the planning agency because it's within 500 feet of an ag district or an ag district operation, which may not be an operation, so it almost came off of the agenda, but we have looked at auto shops, in small auto shops, and there were questions about, traffic and, storage of vehicles and stuff in the past.
Mhm.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
We have an auto repair shop on 77. right down there where it was before. And so when you talk about storage of vehicles, a lot of their vehicles they're storing are almost on 77.
Mm.
They're so close, and it's been a pain in the neck to deal with that. I'm wondering, for this particular one, are there any regulations in place so that that wouldn't happen here? Well, yeah, I just don't know. Are those town regulations that would control it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the ag data statement, it appears that it's adjacent to the Wing, Clydesdale and Horse Farm. So is that the operation that's not active anymore?
We're not sure if it's active anymore, which is why we kept it on the agenda, just to, when in doubt, do.
Did you do this? Yeah, report.
Oh, I showed the clerk how
Okay.
we can get that to
Okay.
help them. And because I believe that they're using an old form,
I believe
and,
that
and
as
the
well.
EAF has been updated
Yeah.
since, May 18, I think, and so, so I wanted to show her how to get the updated.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I just added it because I had on it and had a free check mark.
Any other questions on this?
The EAF map report says there are wetlands on the site, or potentially wetlands on the site. Did anything about that come up?
I didn't look at the GIS wetlands, I didn't bring up that layer.
Mm-hmm.
But it says something about wetlands, and there may be wetlands on the site, and yes, when you're having an auto shop, there's a possibility of oil, like. There's requirements in other circumstances that require, that you have special drains and.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Would that come through the Randall Plan Board?
Hmm?
That request,
this request,
well, for looking at storm drains or, critical.
well, it would be up to the board to, the planning board that submitted it to consider the factors, which is why we send back comments sometimes to be used, to be helpful. To them.
Yeah, I mean. Looking at this as a site plan, so there's really like no indication in this application that they're doing any modifications to the existing garage. So maybe that should be, some sort of comment related to potential environmental impacts of this use.
Are we adding in the, comment to consider the storage of legal things and so?
On there, he has listed 10 parking spaces. So maybe just the note that that's in there that. Probably should be limited to at least what he's saying he had capacity for.
Yeah, I mean, that is important to consider, but if there isn't any, local regulations surrounding this use. Certainly worth it to consider.
We'll start the discussion.
Yeah.
Any other factors? Any thoughts? Town of Randall?
Don't know. It used to be, years and years ago, it used to be a sawmill. And, gentleman died. I don't know, this kid ended up in it, but it was a lot cleaner than what it was when it was a sawmill. And I did go up and talk to the kid, but no, it is a clean garage. Really, and it's not gonna be anything large scale, it's just a small repair, he's just trying to make a living. It is not gonna be like some of these outfits, you know, cars stacks all over.
Great, thank you.
I think he's gonna be fine. In that whole area up to there, there's a lot of places where it's like, there's up the road that have salvage. That's another animal.
You all have them?
And you should talk to Jim.
Okay. So,
Motion is a matter of local concern.
thank you.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Moving along.
So the fourth referral today is project under the Town of Kingsbury Town Board consideration for amendment to zoning. This is the address is Patterson and Woodard Road, so there are specific parcels involved, I've listed them there. And the change to zoning is related to a section A 286-1. This is in the industrial IDA park, Warren, Washington. And this is to remove a portion of the existing park industrial commercial zoning district from PIC or PIC-75 in the Warren, Washington County, I already said, to revert back to residential ag zoning district RA 1A. This amendment is being completed at the request of the property owner, the Industrial Development Agency, due to the prevalence of wetlands and other environmental conditions. Further, the property is no longer suitable for industrial or commercial development. So that's why they decided that they probably won't develop it. I don't know if it has any other information to share, but
Is this the same thing that the IDA had before the zoning board of appeals last week?
yeah, I believe so.
Just disclose my wife is on the zoning board of appeals.
That's
so
right.
Somebody needs me to. Step it up. And discussion.
So the only comment that I can add is this parcel, as I understand it, is sort of towards the end of where it's kind of a roundabout in the circular area at the end of the park. The area beyond that consists primarily of wetlands and was always going to be very difficult for the IDA to develop, which is why the road ended where it did. So this makes a certain amount of sense that if it's not developed as a commercial property, then perhaps, you know, there is a small portion of that area where you could put something on, but there's a lot of.
So Town of Kingsbury just completed their comprehensive plan. Generally, you know, updates to zoning codes are appropriate at that time. Do you know, is there any reference to the comprehensive plan? The comprehensive plan talk about this change at all?
I didn't see anything in the application, and I would have to go back to the comprehensive
Yeah,
plan to take a peek. But
Okay. Also, did they submit the actual application? Okay. I'm missing it. Let's see it, yeah. The 239.
generally, when we receive events about legal evidence, it usually don't have like a site or, you know, it's usually the law, the referring law. And the location. And yeah.
It sounds as if this would make this land potentially more usable. I want to get away from that. Is that what I'm hearing now? Potentially, one area may have a place to house, but it has no ability to put industrial.
I would assume, so this becomes like, is it, rural or rural agriculture?
R1, so it's rural, 1A, RA, so it's rural agricultural 1A.
Because one other possible use
So it
would
says
be
residential.
stormwater drain off. Depending on other developments that happen in the area. It just, I mean, to my mind, it doesn't make sense to continue to try and sell a parcel that's so wet, you're never gonna be able to put anything on it, so you might as well remove it from commercial and see if there's another sensible use for it.
How would it impact internet impacts of changing this?
Any other questions?
Negative.
Questions?
I would just, make a motion that's a matter of local concern with a comment to, ensure the zoning change is in accordance with their recently adopted comprehensive.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we're on to the town of Camden.
So this, is the last referral for today. This is a project under the Hampton Town and Planning Board's consideration for the adoption of Hampton Ag and Farmland Protection Plan. Applicant Hampton, address. Agriculture and Farmland Protection Plan elements, included is the role of ag in Hampton, current status of farming in Hampton, long-term vision and goals, recommended strategies, actions, implementation plan, and other helpful information to support agriculture. And I've given you the recommended strategies and actions and implementation plan because we're looking for intermittent impact. So that would be a good reference to have.
Did, you or Laura have any involvement in this plan?
I went to the first.
Yeah, I just want to point out there is another step to this. Hampton actually received state ag and markets funding to do this plan as a requirement to get reimbursed for it. The plan has to have not only, it has the planning agency, but it has to go through the Ag and Farmland Protection Board. So the next step would be for you, Sue, as chairman of that board, to call that meeting. Or has to go through theirs where before they can get reimbursement.
I only asked because one of the actions is to develop a marketing program, and I see that that might be a good place for the town to work with the county and the
I
tourism.
noticed
Yeah.
that there was reference to
Yeah.
partnering.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
She actually did send me an email and asked me to directly comment on the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So Nan did this then? Nan, yeah, she knows what she's doing. I think this is a great step for the town. Make a motion, it's a matter of local concern.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And
that's
other
it for
business?
this, no other business on the agenda other than the,
So Allison, you can have to carry the doodle, so.
Well, sounds like we have someone who knows about cell phone towers.
So, and we'll call this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Anything exciting?
This is Ag and Markets, not, for some reason I thought it was, Greenway, Ag and Markets.
No, it's Ag and Markets. In fact,
Uh,
Washington